Good morning. Again, thank you for being here today. We are excited to have our first SafeUT staff summer roundtable. It's something that we're excited to have, and we are new to WebEx, so please, if there are any technical difficulties, please be patient with us. But let's see. Yeah, so my name is Ashley Costello. I am the project administrator for SafeUT, and also for the SafeUT marketing and outreach team, we have Marnie Saunders.
Good morning. Happy to see everyone.
And then we also have Will Levitt.
Hi, everyone. This is Will Levitt. I am a project facilitator with SafeUT, and I'm the point of contact for higher ed, National Guard, in the soon-to-be SafeUT frontline app for our first responders.
And we do want to let you know that this roundtable is being recorded this morning. After the roundtable has finished, we will send out a copy of the PowerPoint and the recording to all student service directors throughout the state, so they can distribute it to their staff if they wish. So again, this roundtable will be recorded this morning. Last piece of housekeeping, if you are interested in getting those 2 relicensure points in the Midas organization for your license, please, and everybody else here, just for attendance purposes, can you please type your full name into the chat box so we can verify attendance? And also, we will have a SafeUT swag raffle at the end, and we will be using the names in the chat to put into the raffle. So if you are interested in those, please make sure you put your full name first and last into the chat box today. Marnie, on to the agenda. All right, here's Marnie with the agenda for this morning.
Again, welcome. I'm Marnie Saunders, and I'm the project facilitator for SafeUT.
All right, so why are we here today? The mission for today is SafeUT will provide an opportunity for teachers, educators, and staff to gather together and discuss mental health work-related challenges due to recent world events. The past school year and this summer has been a very difficult one. It has been a very different one, and that's for sure. And while SafeUT does not have answers for what is currently happening in our world and in our schools and in our day-to-day lives, we do just want to bring you guys the opportunity to just chat and discuss what's going on and give you some resources so you can leave here today feeling empowered and maybe just a little bit more confident than when you joined us this morning. So that is our goal for today. And we do hope that with the 30 or 40 participants that we have on our WebEx this morning, that we hear from everybody. So please feel free to unmute yourselves and chime in with questions or comments or feedback that you have while we're having these discussions. Or you can also use the chat feature to type in questions or type in thoughts. I believe Marnie will be checking the chat feature throughout the roundtable. So please use either one of those outlets to participate today. So who's at the table? Who do we have for here for you today? From the Utah Education and Telehealth Network, we have Laura Hunter. Laura, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, good morning, everybody. We're a state agency and partner and a public broadcaster. We look forward to helping to amplify the important work that you all are doing. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. And then from Utah Education Association, we have Sarah Jones.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah Jones. I work with educators across the state. I'm representing them through the Utah Education Association, and I'm very pleased to have been invited to join you today. Thank you.
From the Utah State Board of Education, Christy Walker is not here in person today. She is the Safe and Healthy Schools team coordinator, but she has sent over a message of gratitude to share with all of you. So you'll be hearing from her through me here in a few minutes. But we do also have Kathy Davis.
Good morning, everybody. I represent the Utah State Board of Education, suicide prevention, and I'm so happy to be part of this conversation today.
You can direct where it is. Do you need me to
Thank
pull
you.
it up?
Thank you, Kathy. Here from the University of
Yeah,
Utah
sorry.
on our SafeUT clinical staff,
You did.
we
Yes, I
have
did.
Denia Marie Allerton.
Read carefully. It's there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Tammy. See ya.
Hi everyone, I'm Dania Marie or Dema Ollerton. I'm the SafeUT clinical supervisor. Very happy to be here. Masked, obviously I'm in the room with Marnie and Ashley, so we'll try to make use of hand gestures so you know who's talking. But very excited to be here and to help out answer any questions you have from a clinical perspective.
Awesome. And we also have Dawn Beagley. Dawn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Hi, so I have been working for SafeUT for a little over a year. I've worked with adolescents and teenagers for over 10 years, so they're kind of my people. So this was a good opportunity for me. And I'm excited to be here today and just kind of talk about adult stuff, I guess, and everything that's going on with us, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dawn. And we also have Alicia on the line.
Hi, so I'm Alicia. I've been with SafeUT as well for about a year, and just happy to be here, happy to, I guess, chat about things that we don't usually chat about with our texters and try to figure out the best way to support them, support ourselves, keep ourselves going so we can be the best for them. So.
Thank you, Alicia. And we also have, we've already introduced ourselves, but here's some faces to names. The SafeUT Marketing and Outreach team. Like I said, my name is Ashley Costello, and I am the project administrator and USBE liaison. And I oversee the SafeUT Super Users Program, which the grant application just went live yesterday. So hopefully you all are excited about that as I am. But I predominantly work with the K through 12 population as well. And then we have Marnie. And Marnie, did you want to say a few words?
No, just happy to be here today.
And
Thanks for
then,
joining us.
yes, we've already heard from Will as well. He predominantly focuses on the higher education, SafeUT National Guard, and I think he also mentioned SafeUT Frontline as well. So our message of gratitude. I worked with Christy Walker over at the Board of Education, and she originally sent me a beautiful video and audio of her having this message of gratitude for you all. But unfortunately, with networking errors and bandwidth at home, it was not a successful video. So she had, she'd sent me her words and she asked for me to share them with you on her behalf. So good morning. And thank you so much for joining us at the SafeUT Summer Roundtable. We realize how valuable your summertime is and appreciate you being here to share your experiences and expertise. Please feel safe to share your thoughts and feelings this morning. This is a judgment-free zone. Your feedback is very important to the work at SafeUT and in the Safe and Healthy Schools team, especially since you are the ones seeing the individual effects on the students and community. The Utah State Board of Education is so proud of the caliber of work that comes out of SafeUT, and we know with your input today, it will continue to improve and exceed expectations. Thanks again for all that you do each day. May your days be blessed with sunshine and wellness. I hope we can meet together in the future. Christy. All right, so that leads us into our leading discussions. And like I said, I do want to remind everybody that we hope to hear from everybody today, whether that be unmuting your mics or typing into the chat box. We all have a voice and we all are important, and hopefully we'll have some valuable conversations and discussions this morning. So the first question we want to bring to the table is, how have the recent world events affected you professionally? I'll give you about 30 seconds to maybe think about this and grapple with it on your own. But how have the recent world events affected you professionally? Anybody is welcome to unmute and start the conversation. Anyone is welcome to chat into the text box or text into the chat box.
Just in a meeting, so that's the background. Okay, that's okay.
Hi, this is Dawn. So for me, it's been,
Okay.
I mean, it's been so hard, with this unknown. But professionally, and especially working in crisis services, I am kind of here to help people through the unknown, crises, different things like that. And so for me, it's kind of just put me into overdrive and trying to help people navigate things.
Oh.
The thing that is weird is how a lot of us are working remotely now. And I didn't realize, how hard it would be to work from home and not have the help from all of my colleagues, to be able to answer different questions or, just be around people. So that has kind of been, that's been different. That's been, something to get used to. It's mainly just me and my dogs at home, and the dogs are awesome, but, I can't really talk to them about things. And so it's been a little isolating that way, not going into work and being able to talk to people, just, being at home. So that's probably been, more of the harder part because, I'm used to trying to help people and, calm their nerves as much as possible and help them, find resources and navigate different things. So yeah, just the working from home, getting used to a new environment, communicating electronically like this has been kind of a hard thing to get used to. But yeah, so I'd say that's the most thing for me, is not being with my colleagues and, just being able to socialize as much.
Hey, so this is Will. We have some really great comments in the chat right now, and I just want to take a moment to remind everyone, if you're not speaking, to please mute your mics to help with the background noise. But a couple comments from Marissa Rhodes. She said, "It has totally changed my job description, going from face-to-face meeting with students daily to trying to find them and help them." Christy said, "It's been hard to make decisions for everyone, parents, students, teachers. I also miss students." And then another comment really from Heather Hohen was, "Having to learn and use technology to connect with families and students, difficult medium to get used to on my end and for families to use." And we've heard that quite a bit from educators as well. And then Bethany Foster said, "From Canyon School District, we're balancing health and safety of students and staff while also considering issues of equity and mental health for students. And then also having coworkers wanting mental health assistance, being a psych for staff, not just the family and students." So
This is Sarah. For me, I think that one of the hardest things has been this work-life balance, kind of along the idea of what Dawn talked about. You're working from home and surrounded by work constantly, and trying to set some boundaries of being on a schedule where you're meeting all the new demands that have come about because of the changes recently, but also trying to set some boundaries to have not just work constantly. And working from home, that's really difficult, I find. And I too miss just interacting with my colleagues in the face-to-face realm. Normally, I'd be out across the state visiting educators in schools all across the state, and it's just not the same when you have the virtual meetings. You just don't have the same kind of personal connections that way. So that's been really challenging.
And I will piggyback off of Sarah. When we were first started working from home, I know I struggled most with the collaborative piece of working with my team members, Marnie and Will, and I strive in the office and that face-to-face communication and collaborating together and bouncing ideas off of each other. And it seemed like once we all started working from home, that piece that comes so natural kind of got put on the back burner without even realizing it. So I think after a few weeks of telecommuting, our leadership and Marnie and Will and I did such a great job of coming back together and kind of deciding how we could still collaborate face to face, even though we were telecommuting. So I know we agreed when we started doing our daily phone calls or our daily check-ins or our weekly check-ins that we would put on our video so we could still see each other's faces and each other's facial expressions. And we weren't worried about our dress or our appearance. I guess it was more so of I need to see your face and I want to see your face so we could have those genuine connections and meetings and collaboration pieces. So I know I struggled with that personally, but we came together and came up with some solutions. And it's not the most ideal situation, but it definitely has helped since we've had those initial discussions.
And then some more comments from Liz McDonald. I've shifted from providing services mainly to students to now providing services mainly to parents and teachers. Completely different job, trying to provide services to students online when their parents or siblings are walking around in the same room has been very difficult. No confidentiality, no privacy, and some of the students I'm most concerned about have disappeared for long periods of time. And then from Jared Tucker, I have not felt as effective helping students as I would like, which has been frustrating.
I'm assuming as teachers and educators, a lot of us are coming up and battling those same issues of not feeling as effective from a distance. Has anyone had any breakthroughs or mini breakthroughs or have suggestions or things that have worked well for you to kind of bridge those gaps? And that's okay. Maybe that's something that we're still working on, especially going into the new school year.
Ashley, I'll add something. My work is not the same as those of you that are in the classrooms right now or in the school buildings, but my work has definitely changed. The kinds of programs that we've been providing that I would normally be working on are not kinds of things we can be doing right now. And so some of the success we've been having, I think, is responding to where teachers are right now and what their needs are right now. And so we've done a series of webinars for our educators on practicing mindfulness, another one on practicing self-care, and really just trying to recognize that there are some those social emotional needs for the adults in the building right now too, and it's something we hadn't done before, but that's been really well received because educators are really feeling that stress right now.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Do we have any other comments or conversations that we want to discuss regarding how the recent world events have affected you professionally?
Jennifer Robertson just chatted in here. I'm a counseling advocate. I'm personally worried about the students, not myself. I've currently started a face-to-face social distancing summer school, and I have witnessed the effects that this had on the students. I've had several meltdowns with the first week.
Alicia, I see you have raised your hand. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So just professionally, I think with everything that's gone on in the past, 4 or 5 months or so, it's definitely helped me understand where my limits are as a crisis worker, as a social worker, because I'm not superhuman. It's easy to feel like we can resolve everything and do everything, and me personally, or in my professional life as well, I can't do that. So it's definitely important for me to recognize where those limits are and set those boundaries of just keeping work at work, so I can be my best self for my texters.
Absolutely. Thank you. Jennifer, I love the idea of face-to-face social distancing summer school. Cheers to you. Right on. That's awesome for starting that, to be able to see your students again.
Thank you. I don't have my camera on because for some reason I can't access it, but I'll just go ahead and talk. I just noticed the anxiety of everything that's going on within the world today and what the effects that it's had on the students, and the way that they're reacting to it. I feel as a counseling advocate and as a leader to the students that come to Pinnacle, keeping it together is hard, because I see how bad this has affected the students, and so I just feel like my strength here is very important for the students, because I think that they just don't know what to expect. The unknown is too much.
Absolutely. And I'm sure our students feed off of us. They might consciously or subconsciously mimic our feelings. So if I know easier said than done to be positive and to be strong, hopefully our students can be so as well. But it definitely, I'm sure, has affected them as well. All right, Marnie.
Can you call the next slide?
I'm trying. There you go.
Okay, great conversation, everyone. Second question that we wanted to open to everyone, including the panel, and we've touched on this a little bit, but how have the recent world events affected you personally, in addition to professionally?
Again, we'll give you 30, 45 seconds to yourself to reflect and grapple with it. Feel free to unmute, raise your hand, chat in the chat box.
I know at our house, I've been working from home some. I'm married to a third grade teacher who is trying to learn all new platforms, trying to figure out Canvas for third graders right now. So this teacher is really they're used to connecting with kids in person. That's been tough. And then we've also got a couple of kids at home who are trying to online learning.
Speak a bit louder. Will said he can't hear you.
All right. Okay, is that better? I was saying at our house, I've been working from home most of the time. I'm married to a third grade school teacher who's been trying to do online teaching and faculty meetings and also learning a whole new platform for third graders on campus that he hasn't used before. So that's been a challenge. And then we've got a middle schooler at home and a soon to be high schooler at home. They're trying to do online learning as well, which has been a challenge for them. One of them has done really well. The other one has had trouble staying organized and attention to detail and not getting distracted. So just all four of us doing different things in the same household, which is not a huge one, has been a challenge.
So Marnie, it's kind of tough to hear you. I'm not sure if anyone else is getting that same. It looks like there's a little connection issue with your computer. But,
Will now?
I think it's coming through Ashley's computer rather than your own, so it's a little bit muffled. But Rochelle Snap said, during this time, I've had to use all my skills for myself instead of my students because my own mental health has been having issues. It's a humbling position to be in and reminds me of how real anxiety is.
I'd like to piggyback off of that, if that would be okay. You know, it really is a real struggle, you know, to make sure that we are mentally the best selves. I know for me personally, anxiety has been an issue with worrying. You know, I've got kids of my own and worrying about their safety. You know, everything starting like with that earthquake back a few months ago and making sure that they were safe. You know, with COVID, it just is, there's so many unknowns, and that just has me, you know, a lot of thinking as a mom. So, you know, making sure I'm practicing those self-care skills, and I've worked really hard at creating my own sleep routine because that's something that has helped a lot in the past few months for me. I think that's just, for me anyway, is an important part of, you know, keeping ourselves in a spot where we can help others, because we can't if we're not our best selves, I guess. I know that's kind of like my phrase for the day, but I feel like we just need to be, we can't give to others if we can't, you know, if we don't have anything in ourselves first. So if that makes sense.
Heather Hohen wrote in, anxiety that every cough equals COVID, anxiety that you're giving your kids too much screen time, anxiety that's how school will look like, anxiety, etc. So having to be your own mental health provider. And then to jump on that, you know, personally, I have to take a step back every once in a while and realize that, you know, I have to be there for myself before I can be there for others. You know, you have to take care of number one before you're able to kind of open up yourself and help others as well. So.
Hi, I have to jump on that too. I didn't realize how much validation I got from my associations with peers and the kids, and then to be home by yourself and to not have that. It's been a journey to kind of again take care of myself, but to find that in other ways too. And that was kind of a shocker for me to realize how much I needed that from the kids and coworkers. And yeah, it was kind of strange.
So for me, I can relate to several of these issues. I have asthma and allergies. And so I already, you know, have issues with breathing sometimes and, you know, just different symptoms. And so, yeah, I constantly am wondering if I've been exposed. I've actually had dreams about it. I'll wake up in the middle of the night with like a sore throat and think like, oh my God, I got it. And these are symptoms, with allergies and asthma. I have these symptoms anyways, but it's constantly in the back of my mind. And that's the one thing that I am grateful to be working from home is, I feel pretty safe and protected. I really don't go out much. When I do, I have a mask. I do a lot of, ordering groceries and picking up. And so that is helpful. But at the same time, it's also kind of nerve-wracking and just hard to be home a lot. And then it's also been interesting because, like I said, with the, professional situation, I'm used to, trying to kind of help other people through crisis and help them navigate things and, empathize with them. And so now I've had to kind of take my own advice a little bit, and that's been kind of weird, which is funny. But I've also had, pretty severe anxiety. And Alicia mentioned the earthquake. That really freaked me out. Living in Utah my entire life, not really experiencing anything like that. That was really hard for me. And so, yeah, it's been different kind of having to look inward and take my own advice, make sure I'm okay, and taken care of, and just trying not to overthink things. And I've also had to make sure I'm taking like social media breaks and news breaks. And yeah, it's weird. It's new. And so, yeah, it's just been a learning experience and having to keep myself as calm and, help my anxiety as much as possible so that I can do it for other people.
And Kathy Davis just chatted in. This has been a time for me to embrace radical acceptance of the current situation. We've had to reframe the experience of a drive-through graduation for my daughter.
I see user U04. I believe that's Dema. Dema, you raise your hand. Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah, just wanted to share a little bit on my perspective as a clinician. Really like to echo everyone's sentiments and thoughts. It's been a really tough time, and love what Kathy Davis said about radical acceptance. When this all started with the pandemic, we were asked to do a lot of media presentations and speaking on the news, and everything was about mental health in these times. One of the things that we've noticed, and that I think is a silver lining, is that everyone is going through the same thing together. And so this shared experience of a worldwide pandemic, of an earthquake here in Utah, of civil unrest, I think one of the silver linings is really that we have a shared experience that we can learn from and talk with each other about. And that's kind of what history has shown us. I'm a big history buff too, but history has shown us about the really difficult times bring out the worst, but they also bring out the best in creativity and connection in people. And so I'm sure you've all seen just so many great motions happening in social media of, learning how to cope with this and be really creative. And I'll just say this last thing, having a preparation mindset rather than a panic mindset is really going to get us through these tough times. That will look like different things to different people, and it certainly doesn't mean that you're not going to have feelings of anxiety and fear. But it also helps you to say, hey, you know what, I've got one season of this under my belt, and so what can I learn to take forward for the next season, but also for anything else that gets thrown my way, because we've certainly had so many unexpected things happen this year that none of us really ever thought about, I'm sure. But having that preparation mindset will help lessen the panic.
And then Jennifer Robertson just had another great comment here. I feel blessed that I have the education to know the steps to take care in self-motivation, self-care, and unexpected transition. I can also implement this with my own children, but as time continues to add more change, I find myself feeling overwhelmed and anxious.
And I can add to this as well. I recently moved to Utah last fall. So by the time the pandemic came around and shutdowns starting to happen, I struggled having friends as it was. Moving to a brand new city was hard in itself in a normal world, quote unquote. But by the time, like I said, things started shutting down, I struggled with only having a few select friends that I could lean on and talk with and FaceTime with because we couldn't see each other in person. So not only was it hard to make new connections, but it was hard to better those already timid connections because of fear of everyone just being out and about within the community. So I know I struggled at home by myself a lot and wondering if moving here was a good idea, and I almost moved back. So glad I didn't. I love Utah. I love my job and the people that I'm with now. But during those times, like I said, I had a lot of time to myself to think and to ponder. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good. But I made the best of it I could. And I will say those few select friendships I had before social distancing and before social isolation, they've definitely strengthened and become genuine and really have roots now. So if we're taking a moment to look at the silver linings or the good that has come since March, that is definitely one that I am grateful for, because I know, like I said, those relationships, not just in those few select friendships, but I feel like my work relationships here at SafeUT have strengthened and grounded me so much, because I also leaned on them for interaction and support and guidance. And I feel like I have a foundation here in Utah that will, set me up for a successful future. So I am thankful for that. Do you have something to say?
So it sounds so simple and corny, but I miss hugs. I miss hugging my mom and dad. I've been really, really, really anxious about them getting it and us passing it along to them somehow, being carriers. So I miss being able to hug my friends. It was so odd. Our family went on a hike a few weeks ago and ran into my niece jogging on the trail, and to not just be able to embrace her. I haven't seen her in so long, just felt awkward and strange. And so
Ashley, you're muted. I don't know if you're trying to talk right now. So Emily Tanner from the Utah School for the Deaf and the Blind just wrote in, with the shutdown and closure of many public places that has impacted my access to those services. In other words, not deaf-friendly access leads to difficulties for deaf and hard of hearing people. And Kenna, I'm so sorry, I don't want to butcher your last name. Rydalk. I profoundly miss students and teachers. School has always been a safe place for me, and I miss it. I realize that this is true for so many of our students and staff members. I've realized how much I've taken this constant, known as school, for granted.
Okay, next discussion question. What are your thoughts, feelings, concerns on returning to school next month? I know there's a lot of anxiety about that, especially for those of you working in schools.
Again, we'll give you 30 to 45 seconds to reflect. I know this is a big question right now. Well, SafeUT does not hold the answers, unfortunately. Like I said, hopefully we just leave today with a bit more confidence and feelings of empowerment to put one foot in front of the other.
Strangely enough, controversy is my biggest concern. It seems like everybody you talk to has a different opinion about how it should look, and so you almost have to be so careful. I'm so excited to be back to see the kids, and I don't care if they have masks on or not. I'm just excited to be back to see the kids and make sure they're okay, and to be able to feel like I have a little bit of control, I guess, over helping them. And so sometimes I almost feel like I get in trouble when I'm so excited to go back and I talk to parents or even family members, and there's so many different views and opinions on what should be happening. And so it's hard to navigate that space right now.
It's a great point, Marissa. Liz McDonald chatted in, I felt a lot of frustration about the lack of statewide mask mandate, and then to have masks mandated in schools just seems to put so much of the burden for public safety and health on teachers and students. It just feels particularly unfair when other people outside of schools are flaunting the recommendations. And Bethany Foster said, I think for a lot of educators, there's a push-pull dynamic going on. We want to dive in to help so many students and families in crisis, and we also want to keep ourselves and our families safe. This tension causes a fair amount of anxiety for a lot of us.
One of the things I've been thinking about is as we go back to school, what happens if we need to close schools down again, even temporarily for a day or 2 days if there's a COVID case in the school, and this idea of rolling closures. And our community is even prepared for that. You know, is our education community prepared to wrap our minds around that? Our teachers who just want to be with their students. the parents thinking about that? Of what, are the policymakers thinking about that? Of what happens if we're open and then have to be closed for a day or two, or open again, or whatever that might look like. I think everyone wants some real predictability to get back into the classroom and pick things up, and the way they've been before. And what does it look like if for months or the rest of the school year, whatever it might be, is this sense of unpredictability ongoing?
All right, thank you, Sarah. I know school and next month, like you said, is very unpredictable next month, and that does cause a lot of anxiety for all of us and educators and students and families. I hope for just the best between all of us, that we all stay as safe as possible. It looks like Jennifer has chatted in something, Will.
Yeah, Jennifer just said, I feel like attitude is everything. I want to keep a smile on my face and be positive for the students and their parents. I'm worried more about the reactions we will encounter with secondary students wearing their mask without confrontation.
I love that, Jennifer, that you feel like attitude is everything, because that is something that we can control as individuals. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things we can't, and like Sarah said, it is unpredictable. But right now, like I said, our own attitudes is something that are contagious to others, but also something that we can control and take self-autonomy for ourselves.
And Kenna just said, with a return to school, my biggest concerns as a school leader is how I help my teachers to be safe and feel safe. I receive emails daily from anxious teachers, and I don't have all the answers for them.
It is a very uncertain time right now, and this perfectly segues kind of into our last question. Let's see if we could change the page. So with the professional resources that we have at the table today, so to remind you, that is Kathy Davis, that is Laura Hunter, that is Sarah Jones, that is Dania Marie, that is also Dawn and Alicia. How can these professional resources at the table today help support you and your students during these uncertain times? Questions you have for them? What additional thoughts? My apologies, Will. Go ahead.
You're fine, Ashley. I was just going to say, maybe we can remind everyone what those organizations that everyone at the table represent.
Yes, absolutely. So Kathy Davis, do you want to remind us, please?
Well, hi, everybody. Yes, my name is Kathy Davis, and I'm State Suicide Prevention Specialist representing Utah State Board of Education. And I'm more than happy to provide technical assistance. So please give me your questions or anything that concerns you at this time that I may better be able to serve you, because I think one of the things that's been really for me that I've really grappled with is I haven't been able to be boots on the ground like I used to be. And so I think we have to move into a different space. So please know that I'm here to help you and support you however I can.
Thank you so much, Kathy. We also have Laura Hunter.
Hi, thanks, Ashley. So I'm with Utah Education and Telehealth Network, and we provide internet services to all of the schools. So one of my big questions has to do with the technology resources that are available, especially to those of you that are in schools. If there are things that we should be helping with in terms of software or professional development to help you make effective use of those tools. And then the other part is we're a public broadcaster. So are there messages that we can help amplify and get out to the general public, things about well-being and the importance of the work that you're doing? So things that are in that realm.
Thank you, Laura. We also have Sarah Jones.
Thanks, Ashley. So my role at UEA, I wear 2 different hats. One, I'm a government relations director, so I liaison with our State Board of Education, with the governor's office, with our legislature in making policy. And so we've been working hard trying to make sure that what districts are going to be required to do to get their schools reopened again comes with the resources needed, the funding needed, and the clarity needed so that parents and educators and students can feel comfortable and safe going back to school. So there's kind of the policy side of it. And then my other hat is what we call education excellence in our organization. And so I work on a lot of professional learning. And so we've been trying to really figure out what are the needs that we can help to fill so that educators have the skills for the fall that are going to be new demands on them, differentiating instruction in an online environment, for example, or effectively building relationships with students in an online environment so that teachers who have been used to face-to-face have some skills to do this hybrid learning or whatever that might look like. So we've been adapting our professional learning too. And so ideas or supports we can provide along that line would love to know about that.
Thank you, Sarah. We also have Denya Marie Allerton.
Hi. Yeah, just a reminder, here at SafeUT, we're known for working with kiddos and students, but we're also available to you as educators. So download the SafeUT app, talk to a licensed mental health counselor, master's level or higher, and just get some help for your own mental health. If you're having a hard day, a hard week, whatever, we're here, we're confidential. We've also got a crisis line that will be shown at the end of the PowerPoint, but we really, really want you to know that we're here for you just as much as we're here for the students. If you see some students that are struggling, you can tell us about those students. We can get them some help. So please consider us one of your go-tos on your phone for any sort of mental health issues or questions that you have.
Thank you. And then we also have Dawn and Alicia, who are also SafeUT clinicians, like Dema said, master's level clinicians. So that is our panel that we have here today. And again, I ask you, how can these professional resources help support you and your students during these uncertain times?
Jared Tucker just wrote in, it is a concern that we'll get moving in a positive direction in schools and face-to-face school will abruptly come to an end again, which is kind of what Sarah was talking about there. The sudden closure in schools bring anxiety and frustration to parents, students, and educators. The social students would really struggle. How can we best help social students that really struggle not being at school with their friends? And how can we reach students that love not being at school but suffer from anxiety and depression? Would one of our clinicians want to jump on those questions, maybe try and give a little guidance or clarity to those?
Mm-hmm. Or Kathy Davis, do you have any suggestions as well?
I think this is something that this is Kathy speaking. Let me put so you can see my face again too. I think we have to be really nimble in these circumstances. And, I'm actually an introvert. A lot of people don't realize that. And so this hasn't been a hard transition for me, but for those students that are they depend on that social environment. And then having to have a mask on so you can't interpret facial expressions is something that's really hard. So I think what we need to do is be really mindful of where our students are and meet them where they are and address those concerns and not have expectations for them to be anywhere else but where they are at that moment. And then once you address those areas of anxiety or what have you, you can go to some skills, because I think at this point, a lot of our kids are really having a hard time regulating their emotions. I know I have. And so I've had to really go back to a lot of my skills that I've learned through the years. Because we're gonna have to be really nimble because we don't know. And we're in this uncertain environment and it's gonna change. And we may have soft closures, we may be open for a while. So it's something that I think we're living into the answers.
And this is Laura. I was just gonna piggyback on what Kathy said.
Sorry, trying to make sure I don't step on anyone's toes. It's always fun to do these e-conferences. Kathy, what a great summary of just the situation at hand. I would just add to that as a clinician, I've learned so much this past few months about how kids are reacting. So much anxiety, right, Jared? And it's such a different environment, especially because we know that the removal of social media, phones, that sort of thing can be really detrimental to kids. And so if we think about how social and connected everyone is in this world, and then to take that away, it can be really daunting. Ashley has worked on a letter to parents that is going to go out at some point before the school year that has so many great resources and talking points. And I'm sure she can share that later on in this conference. But what's really important to take away from that is that the conversations need to be had on a regular basis with kids. So if you have time during your school day, it may be a good idea to do a check-in with your students of how are you guys feeling today? What's the hardest thing about today? What's the hardest thing about this pandemic? And to be able to have those healthy outlets and safe outlets of conversation about just how tough it is. I think that's probably going to be one of the best things is with those kids that are really struggling, and I'm sure everyone will at some point, give them the opportunities to talk about it.
And Laura, did you have something to say? And then Bethany?
I did. Thanks, Will. Yeah, I just, from our perspective, focusing on technology, it's not as great as being in person, but we feel a lot of pressure in a good way to help educators know how to try and replicate some of those social experiences using technology. So making sure that we have group projects or set up web conferences so there's breakout discussions and different ways to engage students and at least use the technology to help have more of that social interaction because the tools are set up to do that. The educators, I think, just need some help to understand the most effective ways to do that.
Sam, I saw your message here. We'll copy and paste the discussion questions and put them in the chat for you.
I think helping with technical issues would be a help too. I know I helped several years ago with the SafeUT rollout in our school district, but that's been, gosh, probably 7 years ago. And on one of the things that our district has committed to is to make sure that we do that rollout again in our whole district, including, you know, elementary schools, and making sure that parents have all of that. So helping us, at least as a district, know, you know, how to do that again, and helping us remember. I know last time we did it, there were certain things like we needed to, you know, make sure we weren't overloading the system and things like that. And so maybe helping with that technical issues again, with those rollouts again.
That's a great point, Marissa. Scott Langenecker, who is leading our research team for SafeUT and is just an invaluable member, said, I've suggested to my team that she pick a triad or quad of kids that she can social distance study with and co-learn with. She struggled with remote learning.
Hi, this is Dawn. And, you know, again, like, you know, we've talked about silver linings of all of us being in this together, and no one really has answers or knows what's going on. And I think just trying to be kind of creative and try to adapt as much as we can to the unknown, which is, you know, just even saying it's just hard. And I've noticed too, when, you know, students text in, a lot of them come across like they're in trouble. Like, my parents won't let me do anything, and I can't see my friends, and I hate this. And, you know, I try hard to remind them, you did nothing wrong. You know, no one could predict this. I know it's awful. Your parents aren't punishing you. And sometimes they, you know, can kind of understand that. Sometimes they can't, and they're stuck. And that's another thing that's, you know, working with, you know, younger people, adolescents, teenagers, you know, sometimes they get into black and white thinking, and they can't see anything else, and they're just mad. And at that point, I just kind of let them vent to me and just, you know, like we mentioned, like validate them, empathize with them, just, you know, say, yeah, I know it's hard, and, you know, I wish I had answers for you. And so it's kind of hard because I think there are the kids that are very social, and then there are the kids that, you know, kind of get lost in the mix. And so it's trying to find a balance of those specific kids and what they need. And then also, you know, resources for the parents, because there's, you know, the kids are stuck at home, and, you know, parents are exhausted as well, and they don't know what to do, you know, with or for their kids. And it's just kind of this big mess of everyone's anxious and kind of going stir crazy. And I think it's, you know, this coming school year, everyone's going to kind of have to work together and be creative of how we can support each other. And like with, you know, the SafeUT app and the crisis line, they're free services, they're local. And a lot of people do know about them, a lot of people don't. But just trying to let people know of the free services that are available, and then, yeah, just being creative and trying to figure out kind of what the kids need that is an actual, you know, thing we can work with, like, you know, getting together with 2 or 3 friends, or, you know, letting the kids feel like they have a voice and can be heard, knowing that, you know, there's only so much we can control. But yeah, it's tough for sure. But I'm glad when people do reach out to us, because just to be able to feel heard, I think, can be helpful sometimes. So I don't know. It's a big unknown.
And again, just a reminder that SafeUT is not just for students, it's for parents, teachers, educators, those of you working at schools and affiliated with schools, and that you don't have to be suicidal to text in or to phone into that line. You know, we have a lot of
students, parents, teachers that suffer from anxiety or having relationship issues or, feeling just overwhelmed. And so it's a service for that. Also, a suggestion I have that we kind of started with our SafeUT project team is we do daily huddles and check-ins. So maybe with your students, we've had where we share self-care. So what are you planning on doing for self-care today, or even what did you do last night? So just getting them talking about maybe some good coping skills if they're into art or music or taking a hike or going on a walk, just being outside with nature. Also, having them share something that they're grateful for. And a small win is another thing that we often share. So just ideas I've got in checking in with your kids to make sure that they're doing okay outside of school as well.
Do we have any other questions or comments for our professional resources, our panelists this morning? If you don't have any questions currently, if it's all right with our panelists, I will add and include their emails to their specific slides of today's PowerPoint. So when I send this PowerPoint out and the recording of the roundtable to be shared, you will have their names and their contact information if you have any other questions in the future. So like I said, I will double check with them to make sure that that is all right, but I will also do that so you guys can contact them soon. Any other last thoughts, discussion topics? Scott says if they are outside or in a larger room and masked with some distance, they can still be social and safe and not feel so alone. Scott, I 100% agree with you. This is all a learning curve for us, and we're adults. I think it's a great teaching moment for kids as well. I know I social distance with 2 friends, so teaching kids that same approach to it, I guess, or being safe and being outside and knowing what actual 6 feet looks like instead of just assuming that you know what 6 feet looks like. Those are all great things to practice and to teach kids at any age and to review for ourselves. So thank you, Scott. All right. So Dema will talk about additional resources that are available to you personally and also your students as well.
Okay. So I talked a little bit about the SafeUT app. If you go in your phone, you can download, just type in SafeUT in Google Store or I don't have an iPhone. Apple. That's what it is. I used to have an iPhone. So just go into your app store. It's free. You can see the icon on the screen too, so just look for that. And this just shows a quick setup of, can you mute your microphones? I think there's someone talking in the background. Thank you. It just shows a quick setup of like, you can do a phone call, a chat, submit a tip. So that's if you're concerned about a student. If you're concerned about a coworker at school, that would be a really great place to submit a tip. And what happens is that comes to us, the clinicians, and we assess it, and we then work with administration, either at the school level or district level. So please download the app. It is for anyone connected with the school. So educators, parents, administrators, please use that to talk to us. We're open 24/7. and it is confidential. The other option is the Utah Crisis Line, so 1-800-273-TALK. That is linked to the National Suicide Prevention Line. You do not have to have suicidal thoughts to call. You can just call to talk if you're having a hard day or you have some other mental health, relationship questions, anything like that. That number does route you to wherever your area code is. So if you have a Utah area code, you'll come to our office. If you don't have a Utah area code, it will take you to the state that your area code is in. And so the number, I'll just put it in the chat box. If you want to go directly to us here in Salt Lake, it's 801-587-3000. But otherwise, you know, the service will connect you with your area code in that other state, and they will also be happy to chat with you. Really great service. Please use us. If you're just curious about it, just test it out. We don't mind. So we'd rather have you be unsure and try it than just kind of saying, gosh, I really need help, but I don't know where to go, or I don't want to bother anyone. You're not bothering us. Please use us.
Good. And just to comment on that, when we do outreach at schools, we tell students to download it just in case, you know, that they may never ever have to use it, but they may have a friend or family member that is in a crisis at some point in time or that they're worried about. So just have it just in case. It's really good to have. Gemma, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the mobile crisis outreach team also, because that's another fabulous resource that we've got. Let me mute.
Thank you, Marnie. That is such a great reminder. So here at the Crisis Diversion Services, we have the Utah Crisis Line, the SafeUT app. We have a warm line that is, we think of it sort of the crisis hotline is when you're at emotional boil, and the warm line would be maybe an emotional simmer. So we'll put that phone number up for warm line as well. But then we have a really great service that's the Mobile Crisis Outreach Team. In Salt Lake County, we have one. We also have Utah County and several other counties. So if you're curious, you can just call the crisis line number and ask if there's a team in your county. And what it is it's just a therapist and a peer support specialist that go out in the community, again, at no cost. And if someone is struggling and wants to see someone face to face, we go out and we provide resources, we provide support. We have gone into many schools and worked with kids that are struggling, having a tantrum, that sort of thing. And we do the same for adults. We go to schools, we go to homes, we meet at a Starbucks. We are very flexible and we really want to be used at this time. We take all the precautions here in the Salt Lake County, wearing masks, PPE, that sort of thing. And I'm certain that in other counties they're doing the same thing as well. So yeah, it looks like Liz has got some great things to say about MCOT. Thank you, Liz. I'm going to read this out loud. MCOT is so great. They've come to our school a handful of times to help us assess a few tricky situations, and they've been super helpful. They've even helped us come up with safety plans with parents when needed. Absolutely. So again, please use us during this time. We are eager to be busy and to help you out.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gemma. At this time, the SafeUT marketing and outreach team would like to personally thank our panel today for joining us. Thank you for your time, your insights, your knowledge. We definitely appreciate you. Gemma, it looks like Marissa has asked, is there a way to get the MCOT help virtually for those of us who are rural? And you're already on it, so well done, thank you. Panelists, you are more than welcome to stay. Your name has gone in the raffle for the SafeUT swag. So you can stay and claim a prize if you wish, or I know time is a gift, so if you need the few extra minutes today, Again, thank you for being here. We appreciate you and have a great rest of your day. For everybody else, Marnie is going to take over the SafeUT swag. She's going to go over and tell you all the goodies that we have for you. This is just a thank you for attending and for joining us today. And along with the SafeUT swag, we do have, if you registered in Midas, USBE will honor that and gift you with 2 relicensure points for attending with us today. Anybody who wins swag, it says there at the bottom, please email the address at which you would like the swag sent to my email, ashley.pistello@utah.edu. If you email me the address, we will package it up for you here in the next few days, and we will send it on over to you. So thank you. Marnie?
All right, now for the fun part. Now you must be present to win, okay? So if someone, I see some names on here that I haven't seen in the chat. So we'll check and then we can draw another name. And let us know, give us feedback. I just appreciate Ashley taking the lead on organizing this. You know, we've really missed out as a SafeUT outreach and marketing team being able to do outreach and go out in the communities, and all of our summer events obviously were canceled and a lot of our fall events as well. So if you found this to be helpful, we would really like to organize another one in the future. So give us feedback. They'll be sent a survey. Is that correct, Ashley?
Yes, we'll touch base on that in a second.
Perfect. Okay, let me get to the fun part. All right, so first prize here is a SafeUT eco-friendly notebook and pen. We've got 4 of those that we're giving away, and I've drawn names. Is there a Candence? I have a Candence Peterson. One of those goes to you. If you're on here, just if you're able to chat back, otherwise we'll draw another name. Oh, she's there. Okay, congratulations. So you will get a notebook. Next person picked was Lori Thorne. I'm not sure if she's on here. Lori, are you on? Wait a couple minutes. I didn't see her name in the chat, so I drew another backup name. Megan with 2 G's, Hansen. Oh, perfect. Okay, congrats, Megan. And then third notebook goes to Kelly Winslow. Are you still on here, Kelly? And I might not have seen her, so I'm going to pull another name here.
Hey, Ashley. I'm not sure if anyone else can hear Marnie. It looks like her connection went out again.
Okay, we're gonna try to pull via my mic. So, the last name that we pulled for
Jennifer Robertson
was Jennifer Robertson
for a notebook.
for a notebook.
Oh,
Jennifer's good. And
okay.
Shelly Snap, are you on still? You were also pulled during the technical difficulties. Yes, all right. So we have all 4 notebooks given away. Next, Marnie, if you want to come to this side of the table so they can see, use my camera. We have the 4 reusable straws.
You know what? Let's give one more notebook away if you don't mind, because I drew another name when I lost connection, and it was Michelle Fiedler.
Is Michelle Fiedler still on?
If not, then we've got our 4.
That's okay. Then it looks like we have 4.
Okay, do you want me to come over?
Yeah, you want to come over here?
Okay, sure.
We appreciate your patience.
Okay, thanks guys. We're juggling here. So next prize we've got these fun reusable straws, and they also have a bottle cleaner inside of them and a little SafeUT carrying case. And we're giving 4 of those out. First name I drew was Stacy Lindsay. Are you on here, Stacy? Perfect. Okay, Stacy, congrats. Second name is Darren Dean. Darren, are you on? Last call for Darren. How about Jacqueline Whitaker? Jacqueline? Last call for Jacqueline. How about Tracy W. Wilburn? Last call for Tracy. All right, how about, we've already got, okay, Rochelle and Shelley are the same. So hold on. How about Jared Tucker? Are you still on, Jared? All right, boom. Congrats, Jared. Next one is Marissa Rhodes. Are you still on, Marissa? Perfect. And last for the straws, Lexi H. Lexi, are you on? All right. Congrats, Lexi and Marissa. And now we have 2 phone charger power banks, SafeUT. They've got the SafeUT logo on them. First name I drew was Heather H. Are you on, Heather? Some of the last names were cut off, so I apologize on my list. Heather H. Oh, Heather, congrats. We got you. And how about Carla Coleman? Not sure if I saw Carla on there. So going once, going twice, Carla. Emily Tanner for a phone charger. I know you're on there. And we know where to find you. So Emily will be sent. Oh, there she is. Okay, perfect. And then finally, we've got some fun SafeUT baseball tees. So we've got 2 of those to pass out. First one, I had Jacqueline Whitaker. I feel like I already called her and she wasn't on. Jacqueline, going once, going twice. Okay, how about Christy Coons? Oh, yay. Okay, Christy, you've got a shirt coming. And email us the size that you'd like. We've got pretty much every size possible. So send that in your email. And they are a unisex size. They run a little bit big. So keep that in mind, Christy. And then last one for a shirt, Kenna R. Are you still on, Kenna? We know. Oh, there she is. Okay, great. Congrats, Kenna. I'm gonna turn this back over to Ashley.
Thank you, Minnie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Wonderful. All right. So yes, if you won swag today, yes, congratulations. Can you please email me, ashley.costello@utah.edu, the mailing address at which you would like your swag sent. And then if you received a shirt today, they are unisex. Please let us know what size you are interested in. We have all the sizes. Please email me and let me know. Thank you, Will, for dropping my email in the chat right there. Last but not least, guys, thank you so much for your time today. We truly appreciate it. We will be sending you a feedback survey. It will be sent to the email that the invitation was originally sent to. So probably tomorrow you will receive a feedback survey. I believe it's 5 questions, maybe 6, I don't remember. But please take 5 or 6 minutes to give us some feedback on whether today was beneficial for you or not, and how we can improve, and hopefully we'll have some roundtables here in the future as well. We are here for you guys, so please let us know. Like I said, your feedback, positive and suggestions are always welcomed. And again, very lastly, the PowerPoint and a recording of the roundtable will be sent to student service directors throughout the state, and they are more than welcome to distribute that to their staff as well. So again, thank you for joining us. You guys are wonderful. We appreciate all the comments and the discussions today. Truly powerful, and we appreciate you all. Keep doing the great work that you are doing day in and day out. Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Thank you.